Good morning. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce today's speaker, Jayne Morley. I've had the opportunity to know Jayne pretty well over the last 7 seasons. Even when she was in 6th grade, Jayne was coachable and mature far beyond her years. As her lacrosse coach, I've always appreciated Jayne's honest style of communication and view on situations. She cuts right to the chase and calls it like it is, but always in a respectful and thoughtful way. Her teammates feed off of this powerful, positive energy, and as a result, the team becomes stronger and more united through her leadership. Jayne is the consummate student athlete, and she serves as an inspiration to all of us. I'm sure her words today will challenge us, empower us, and bring us even closer together as a community. Please stand and welcome a talented student athlete and friend to all, Jayne Morley.
Good morning, everyone. Please be seated. I want to thank Chaplain Gavin and the vestry for having me speak today, and to Josie for the amazing introduction. Today, I want to talk about my experience at EA and hopefully inspire some of you to give a second thought to the amazing opportunities and privileges we are given here. A little backstory. I grew up in a small country town called West Grove in the southernmost part of Pennsylvania, literally 10 minutes from Delaware and 5 minutes from Maryland. From the time I was in elementary school, I went to a public school called Grove, which few of you have probably heard of. To paint the picture, driving down the main road from my house to my school, I passed a cow farm, then a corn farm, then an alpaca farm, and then a mushroom farm. The closest shopping, besides the grocery store, was the mall in Delaware. One of the greatest things to happen to the area was when they put in a Starbucks 10 minutes from my house because it meant we were finally on the map. Despite all of the inconveniences, I had a happy childhood growing up in what I like to call the boonies, and it will always be home to me. My story really begins when I first discovered EA and this area in general. I was in 5th grade driving to my club lacrosse practice on the stadium turf. We drove through the main entrance and past the chapel with the words Esse Confidere, and I told my mom, when I'm older, I want to go to college here. My mom replied while laughing, "Jayne, this is a high school, a private school, not a college." I was shocked. I didn't really have any concept of private schools. I'd never even seen one. And all I knew was that it was a taboo topic at my school, and we sort of shunned kids who left to go to one. At that time, I never thought that I would ever change schools, move from my childhood house, or make new friends. I had everything that I needed to be okay. My freshman year at Grove did not meet my expectations for a high school experience. My teachers weren't very passionate about what they were teaching. It seemed like just a job to them. Students never went outside of class to talk to teachers or ask for extra help. The halls were so crowded, it was more of a shuffle than an actual walk. Going from class to class, I had to look over my shoulder to make sure people weren't stealing stuff out of my backpack. The average class size was 30 kids, so if a teacher remembered your name, you were lucky. Most of the students didn't really want to learn or go to school or play sports. There was very little motivation and even less positivity, which, if you know me, is kind of a priority in my life. Thankfully, my parents noticed my unhappiness before I did, and in January, on the night of the deadline, they spontaneously sent in an application to EA. By February, when my public school fired the lacrosse coach 2 weeks before the start of season, I knew for sure that I needed to get out. I brought up the idea of maybe going to EA, even though it was a crazy thought. My parents, surprisingly, told me that they had already sent in the application and that I could tour within the next week. It's a cliche, but that tour day changed everything for me. Throughout my day, I noticed both subtle and drastic differences between EA and my public school. Almost every student and teacher smiled and held the door for me. With only 10 people in a class, there was nowhere to hide, and so every student was engaged and talking. The oddest thing that I noticed that day was not the multi-building campus or even the uniforms. It was that kids just threw their bags down in the lounge or outside the cafeteria without a second thought. I've now been at EA for only 4 years, but God, it feels like a lifetime. EA and our community is one of the most unique places I've ever experienced. The teachers here actually care about what they teach, and they want their students to care too. It's the little things like Mrs. Murray spending extra time with me to try to get me to finally like math, or going to the history department to talk to Mr. Kelly and the rest of the history crew about the latest breaking news, or even walking into Mrs. Aldridge's to chat after a rough day. Students here strive for accolades, both academic and athletic, and not only for themselves, but for the team and the name of the school. It is so incredible to be a part of a community that celebrates so happily for another's success. From big wins to the small, we support each other like family. Our school provides us with incredible opportunities and connections that you just can't find many other places. They instill in us every day to want more, to try something new, and to strive for greatness. I truly discovered another world when I stepped onto EA's campus. If you're going through a hard time at EA right now, maybe your grades aren't what you want, or you aren't getting enough playing time, or you're just not clicking with your friends, I challenge you to take a step back and remember all the little things EA has given to you. Not everyone has a movie-worthy high school experience, and that's okay. Remembering to be grateful for the opportunities we have been given and the positive aspects of our lives can bring a whole new, optimistic perspective. If you have time today, say an extra thank you to someone who has helped you. It could be a friend, a teacher, a parent, a coach, someone from administration, or the grounds crew. Remember the good moments and let the others pass, because you're only in high school once, and this is a pretty great one. In silence, let us reflect on what we've just heard.